Hey, what's up, guys? Apologies for what happened earlier. I had technical issues with my Wi-Fi, so it wasn't working. But yeah, so I apologize for that for what happened earlier. But I just want to give my thoughts here on what happened just with the Galaxy over the weekend. I think I'm able to go on. Here we go. I think we're able to go on live on both on YouTube, at least on YouTube, and I think it's broadcasting it onto Twitter. But yeah, no, it's very difficult to see what's going on right now with the Galaxy. I think it was very tricky to see everything how the game went against RSL. If you guys weren't able to listen to the Twitter Spaces, I hopped on and did a Twitter Spaces, so people could listen. I still try to put the content out there. But yeah, I just feel like the Galaxy right now are really struggling. They're not really catching the momentum. A lot of different things with them. You got a player like Dejan Jovic, who's right now seems to be in really good form, and for whatever reason, Greg Vanney is deciding not to use him, which is unfortunate. Because I think he's a really exciting player. I love his energy. I love what he brings in day in and day out. When you're talking about a player that's committed and is barely getting any minutes. I know Greg Vanney seems like he wants to give Kevin Cabral an opportunity to continue to perform, but I feel like after 9 games, if Kevin Cabral has not showed you what he's capable up in 9 minutes, I mean in 9 games, then I think it's time to give someone else an opportunity. Um, but I also want to check on I want to share this controversial or sort of controversial uh play. I think this is a play, everybody here. Let me go ahead and play this.
Just making it happen. Oh, this could be it. Yeah. Hold that thought.
So this was
Conversation with
essentially the
Catherine
goal that got
Nesbitt,
called back.
first assistant. This is a huge lift for LA. So still don't see any. If it was anything, it was away from the ball. I think this one's going to hold up. And so he is going to go to VAR to make the decision himself. I'll tell you this, it has to be clear evidence to overturn. Every replay that we have seen, if they are in fact looking at a handball. And he spent very little time. No goal. Wow. No goal. What an enormous change of fate for RSL. To spend too much time getting
So
into
we'll
the
watch it
favorite
again
foot
just to see
and just
right
making
here.
it happen. Oh, this could be it. Yeah. Hold that thought. Conversation with Catherine Nesbitt, first assistant. This is a huge lift.
So the play there is like what it appears like Derek Williams ended up was the reason why that play got called back, because I believe he pushed him and gave him like a slight little push, and I just thought that was interesting. But nevertheless, the Galaxy have been getting through these games, just barely getting through these games, and I think it's when you have so much talent on this team, you shouldn't be getting through these teams like RSL. By no means you should. I don't think you should be losing 1-0. I think you should definitely come out on top and be winning that game. I think when you look at how much talent that they have on that roster, and you have we'll talk about the DPS, right? Kevin Cabral, Douglas Costa, Chicharito. Two of those three guys are Greg Vanney guys. Greg Vanney brought Kevin Cabral and Douglas Costa, who a lot of people, even myself, I thought was a very questionable pickup. Um, we haven't seen it. I don't by no means I think I would like to give up on Douglas Costa, but I think Kevin Cabral, to me, like I said earlier, I've already seen enough of him to know that right now he's not the guy, and someone else needs to be given another opportunity in his place. And I think to me, oh, let me pause it. I think to me, everything that you see of the momentum, and I think everything that you see from Dejan Jovic, of him calling out essentially Greg Vanney of saying he needs more minutes, and I have nothing wrong with him saying that, because you want players that are motivated like that and then want to play and ask for those minutes. And I like a player like that that's not shy. and I'm all in support of Dejan starting. I don't see why Dejan and Chicharito couldn't start in a 4-4-2. I don't know what's the reason. Whatever, regardless if they play very similar styles, we see what Dejan can do in like 10, 15 minutes. I don't know what's the most he's played this season. I think this might have been the game that he's probably played the most. But yeah, now imagine if he plays, if he plays 90 minutes or something like that, it's not something that I think, to me, it's not something, not a player that you feel like, oh, if he plays 90 minutes, he's only a player that I can see he's gonna help the team, and by no means is he hurt who would hurt the team. And I think Cabral is the type of player that's currently hurting the team by his poor performance. What's up, kid? 1, 2, 3. Hey, man, I had technical issue difficulties earlier. I'm just trying to catch up on the live. I see you. He said that I'm tapped in. I appreciate you being on. I know it's a little late, but I was like, hey, I'll give it a go. Just want to give the content out. Like I said, I still did it on the Twitter Spaces, but I'm gonna try to continue doing it. Just to have it in motion, and just to be able to have the content out there. Because when I do the Twitter Spaces, I notice it takes a little bit to get the recording, even though I get it recording. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I want to share this thing. Chicharito had posted this. The Galaxy ended up sharing this thing he posted. He said a lot of things to improve. Let's regroup and keep working for the next one. Um, yeah, I like that, but I just feel like eventually it's gonna come a time that you shouldn't be continuously saying these things. I think the Galaxy are a big club in the MLS, but you shouldn't be struggling in these games. And if we look forward, they got Austin FC, who's currently the second best team in the MLS. They're currently in second place. They go down there. They're going to travel to Austin. So I'm excited to see how the Galaxy will do, because it's going to be a hostile environment. You're gonna go over there. It's gonna be a lot of different things. I just want to know who's gonna be available, who's gonna be healthy, and so many things. And are they gonna be capable of beating Austin and Austin? That's one thing to take note. If you're able to beat Austin and Austin, then okay, you could be like, okay, Galaxy, they had a little bump, but then okay, they beat Austin and Austin, because to me, Austin's for real. I've only catch glimpses here and there of the game, but I think seeing 9 games in, when a team is able to be at the top of the table, that's not a fluke. But yeah, to me, another player that I want to see more of is Douglas Costa. I don't know exactly. I know he had some injuries and all these different things, but I just want to see more of him. Kid says, is Austin for real? I think that I everything from my here. Look, I haven't seen an Austin game from start to finish, but I should say I saw a couple glimpses, but everything that I've seen, the highlights, 9 games in, and they're at the top of the table. I think they're for real. But it's also the MLS season. It's not how you start; it's how you finish. So I think right now they'll be for real. We just got to see the whole consistency. This is their second year, so I want to see how they do once it comes towards the end of the season. If they have to deal with any injuries, and I think anytime the Galaxy plays against any team, we saw against Charlotte when they had a packed house. Austin's always has a packed house, but I want to see how these emotions will happen when you have this big of players like, all right, Chicharito, Douglas Costa go down there, because it's going to be a hostile environment for the Galaxy, but it's going to be an exciting thing that now that we have these type of rivalries, because I would like to go. I know it's kind of like I don't have any plans, but I would like to go to that game. Because I think it would be these are the type of games, and I love that the MLS is growing, because these are the type of games and type of things that, like, like, hey, let's I want to go to Austin to watch this game, because it's regardless of the MLS, it's now the MLS. I feel like it's being an attraction to go to different cities, and as a soccer fan, right, as a football fan, whatever you want to call it, that's what the MLS is doing. And when you have a cool team like Austin, that what they're doing, making some noise right now, and you have a team like the LA Galaxy, I expect nothing less than fireworks. So that should definitely be exciting. But another thing that I want to say is with the Galaxy, with everything that kind of going on. they're still not doing. I mean, they're still not too far from the standings. Well, I think they're in third place. So I mean, I think that's still pretty good, but you don't want to fall. You don't want to fall too far down on the table or not get points because the Nashville game, they were just lucky enough to get points. By that game winning goal from Dejan Joveljic. And you don't want to be a team that wants to live off of that, right? You want to be able to get it's every now and then if you got games like that, but you don't want to be a team that's consistently waiting for like that last second goal or anything like that. So I just want to go ahead and pull this up right here. Let me see. Oh no, I don't want to share that. I want to show these standings of where these are at. Here, give me a second. Yeah, there we go. The standings. So we look at the standings. Very too early standings. So right, I got LAFC in first place with 22 points. Austin with 20 points. L Galaxy with 16 points. Didn't get no points because of the loss. FC Dallas, I like what FC Dallas is doing, if I'm gonna be honest, because they got so much talent of the youngsters and and everything that they're doing. I like to see now that they're a good mesh. They have the youngsters, but also they got a veteran team. And it's very surprising to see them at the top of the table this early. They got Pariola over there. They got some talent, and then Jesus Ferreira, he's scoring goals over there. So it's good to see that. I definitely see Austin, FC Dallas being that team that can one really sell high, expensive youngsters to Europe, but also compete in the MLS. And I think that should be the goal of every club in MLS. Another thing is hard to compete because the region Dallas makes sense. I feel like LA Galaxy or LAFC are able to can do that. I don't know why Galaxy. To me, Galaxy should be leading the MLS with this because of the branding, the name, and everything like that. But they've fallen behind because of as far as I understand, managerial front office decisions, it has not been construction really well. On the other hand, FC Dallas has done everything right from their academy, recruiting and building up these youngsters and sending them off to Europe. So we'll see if Galaxy and LFC are able to do that. But yeah, Kid has another question. We'll see Akala debut for the Galaxy. Debut for the Galaxy after his performance in the Jacob. I don't know too much of that. I think he's still too young to I think or I should say, I don't think he's quite there yet. Cause Alex Akala, man, that kid is exciting. He's exciting. I don't know how old is he. I don't want. Let me look this up. How old is he? But he is an exciting player. What is he? He's 16 years old. So I know there's some type of agreement that the ML that the Galaxy supposedly have with Manchester City because he's supposed to go to Manchester. I think it's Manchester City or whatever. Kid, you could probably tell me, but yeah. But I think when he turns 18, he's expected to go. He's expected to go to Europe. That's the expectation, right? We'll see everything happens, but I don't know. I think it's an exciting time for Kala. This video is ridiculous. This video right here.
Gorgeous touch. The Mexican American winger going to work.
I'm playing. Oh, he just megs. So Alex Kala is this youngster, plays for the Galaxy, obviously. And he did dirty to Manchester United. Academy players.
Trying to find some space. Another dribble from him. The shot.
50.
You see a bit of a scrum. Look at the skill from Alcala. Beats the defender in the corner. Into the box, the cross. And Alcala.
This angle is ridiculous right here. Okay, so I'll just mute that. So Alex Akala is the youngster this video is playing the GA Cup. So I think they ended up losing to Manchester United in the GA Cup, but he definitely stood out. That clip went viral. He posted it on his Instagram. We'll see. I don't know. We have to see them because right now I think these are just academy kids. I would like to see him tear it up at G2 And then obviously, I don't know if he's gonna how well he can progress from now. He's 16 years old by the time he's 18 to get a call up. He reminds me of the type of hype that Efrain Alvarez had, when he was with the G2 and coming up the academy. So I just hope Alex Akala is able to fulfill those goals and do a little bit better than Efrain, because Efrain had so much hype, but unfortunately we haven't seen that. We haven't seen it outside of that. We've seen what he did with the G2, and unfortunately we haven't seen. I would like just to see more for Efrain Alves, because he has so much. He's technically talented, but we just haven't seen that just of yet. But high hopes for him. We'll have to see, but we'll definitely keep an eye out for him, because man, that is a player that they can definitely ship out and make some money off of. But he can also have a successful career, whether it's in MLS or wherever his life may take him. Um, and it says, "Hey, Gio, sorry for your Wi-Fi not working next time." Yeah, sorry guys, technical issues earlier, and now I'm able to get to it. So, yeah, no, it's 7. It's 7 p.m. But look, like I said, I hopped on the Twitter Spaces, but I know not everybody's on Twitter. So I figured I hop on back here. I was like, you know what, just give it a try. Um, while I got my Wi-Fi working. Um, Kid says Galaxy need a creative playmakers, not so reliant on Chicharito. Yeah, it's Costa's supposed to be that guy. Victor Vasquez is that guy at times, but it's like Victor Vasquez can't stay healthy. He's also older. Douglas Costa's also older. Efrain Alvarez, he did not have a good game. He also has a capability of being that creative player. That's why, to me, if like, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but like, Cabral does not look like he's gonna pan out right now. It doesn't look this season, right? Let's talk about this season, Cabral. I don't know. I'm not excited about Cabral. I don't think any Galaxy fan is. But Douglas Costa, the other DP, is supposed to be that guy, right? So if let's say for this play the what if game, like if these guys don't pan out this season, then it's like those are two spots that kind of just went to waste when you could have built around Chicharito and bring him, like a player like Christian Pavone who was available. I think those questions may get asked. No, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, because then because then Douglas Costa could have an incredible season. There's still lots of the games left, but it just is looking like a lot of head scratching. But I agree, they definitely need a creative playmaker that can do it. I'm hoping Efrain Alvarez could be that guy, but it's just the consistency. Unfortunately, with him, he'll have some great games where he'll just show amazing, technically gifted passes and those banger that he had against Charlotte, but then he kind of just goes quiet. Then you don't. Sometimes when he's on his field, you don't really notice him. And I think to me, he's just so talented. I just feel like he just needs to be more assertive. Like, I don't know why he's not more assertive or more demanding on the ball, because he has that creativity to give passes like a Victor Vasquez, to send in those crosses when they need to be right on the money. So I don't know. I look more for Efrain Alvarez to be that number 10 guy, but like, look, we saw the type of game he had this past game, and it's unfortunate for that. So we see, because this team can't be relying just on Chicharito, because if it's just Chicharito, this team is not going to go that far. Because if no one else is scoring the goals outside Chicharito, no one else is doing things, it's unfortunate. And if Greg Vanney doesn't want to pull the trigger on starting Dejan Joveljic over Kevin Cabral, then this team is only going to go so far. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news or anything like that, and nor do I feel like it. But and I feel weird saying this like 9 games in, but like after the RSL game, I'm like, yo, there's no. I don't want. I don't want to see 90. I don't want to see Kevin Cabral start right now. I just don't. Maybe you can start later in the season, but right now, just Cabral is not that guy. And it's just, I've seen enough of Cabral to be like, all right, let's give someone else a shot. And it's okay. Look, he's a DP player. Greg Vanney might have got it wrong. I don't know. And that's the reality that the Galaxy are facing right now. And they're committed to them for 5 in total for 5 years. This is year 2 of 5. So they got to figure it out. But like, But I don't feel like if Greg Vanney benches him for the next couple of games and come off the bench, I don't think that's giving up on Kevin Cabral. I don't know if Kevin Cabral will feel that way. I just feel like he's just not cutting it, and Dejan can definitely cut it and can definitely be that guy. And I just feel like that's just the way to do it. I don't know. Uh, but I don't care to see Kevin Cabral start right now. A kid says Kevin Cabral isn't bad. He makes good movements, but he just isn't finishing and isn't regular. Yeah, you need more players. You need more players to have more creativity and stuff. Oh, guys, I know someone had asked. I'm just gonna post this here. Uh, that link is for the t-shirts. I know some people had asked that they're interested in the t-shirts, and those listen to the podcast. I'm gonna upload this to the podcast. You can now get those t-shirts on lasoccerhub.com. Go to the shop. I have the checkered t-shirts there. For the people that were asking, they're there. They're available. I told you I would get them, so now they're there. I just want to share that with everybody because I know they were asking. So it's there. If anybody's interested, don't feel forced or anything like that. It's just if you like what we're doing, if you like you want to support, cool. If you don't, it's all good as long as you listen and support. So is there? I'm showing it right here. You can have it available from sizes small to large. I took that at the place I go play. So it's like, yeah, you just click here, you got small to 2XL. And if you need a bigger one, if you need it bigger than 2XL, hit me up, DM me or whatever. I can probably make that happen. So yeah, they're there. Let me know if you're interested. If not, cool. As long as you listen to the podcast, share the podcast, that works for me, man. But yeah. But yeah, that's so far as those are my thoughts. And the final thing I'll say, just these last 3 games have been kind of disappointing to watch the Galaxy. Look, I know Nashville is a tough team. I get that. But there was no creativity in these last 3 games, and I want to get these last 3 games right. And even in the Open Cup, they got lucky too against San Diego Loyal because the last 3 was Nashville, RSL, Nashville against at home against San Diego Loyal, and then Chicago against the Chicago Fire. So these last 4 games have been very tough to watch. That's all I'm gonna say. It's been tough to watch the Galaxy play. I mean, outside, the last game that was exciting to watch was the El Tráfico. So I don't know. I expect a lot more from the Galaxy. I know they expect a lot more, and I don't know. I just feel like some of these games are just, if I'm gonna be honest, it's been a little bit boring to watch because the lack of creativity, and they're too good to be this boring to watch. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just too much talent there. But you have to move around these pieces. I don't know. I'm just very curious to know when Greg Vanney's gonna pull the trigger and be like, "Yo, Cabral, you're just not that guy right now. We're gonna do it." Dejan, you're starting. I can't wait to see Dejan start with Chicharito. It's possible. I know some people don't think it's possible. It's gonna mess some things on my dude. Start the guy, and then you figure it from there. He's willing to do the dirty work, and that's all. That's all you really need, right? And he's a real threat. So yeah, that's my take on the Galaxy. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk LAFC. All right, guys, and we're back. We're talking LAFC. This is gonna be a solo pod. Had technical difficulties earlier, trying to win my Wi-Fi and everything. So we were scheduled working. That's on me. But we're still gonna get the content out. So it's just gonna be me talking about it. All the guy JP was available to talk. We did a Twitter Spaces. We made it happen on Twitter, but I know so I'm gonna just I was able to get the Wi-Fi working later at night. Yeah, it's just gonna be a solo pod, and we're gonna talk about the LAFC. So I was at LAFC. Was it last night? Yeah, last night, Sunday. It felt good to be back at the bank. It felt good to be watching live soccer again. It wasn't an easy game for LAFC. It was a tricky game to about the 82nd minute, the 80th minute, whenever Ryan Hongs had scored that goal to give them the lead. But look, this team, LAFC, I'm gonna be honest, is exciting to watch right now. They Vela had an off night. It's probably the worst game that I've seen Carlos Vela had, and they still won the game. And that is impressive to say because and Chicho wasn't really, he was off. I would say Chicho Mahala. Let's just go with the front three. But Carlos Vela out of the front three probably had one, if not the worst game of the and the front three weren't gelling. They had opportunities. Minnesota United had opportunities, but they weren't able to convert. And I think what I saw from this team is how talented they are, but also how connected they are. Because the thing that I saw that this team never gave up, and this team made it tougher in the second half to Minnesota United. They really applied the pressure, and they were able to break down Minnesota United because Minnesota United wasn't able to give it 90 minutes. They were able to give it 82 minutes until that goal came up, and that's what I noticed. That's what LAFC is going to do to teams, is A was capable of doing to teams, and those second half subs, the adjustments that Steve Strono was able to do, it's been very very impressive. And to me, that's what a great team is able to do when your superstar doesn't produce. The others are able to step up. You had Ryan's Hollingshead scored his third goal of the season. That is crazy to see. That's crazy to say. You had, I think, the LAFC Twitter account tweeted that had, like, this is the seventh player that scored off the bench, seventh or eighth player scored off the bench. The bench. That is insane. In 9 games, 7 different players have scored off the bench, and that to me is insane. So, but that just goes to the work that they've been putting off. That doesn't happen by luck. That just happens by preparation and everything they do. Um, I do want to talk about the goal. I want to see the goal. Okay, let's go ahead and pull up the Ryan's goal.
The ensuing corner got knocked down. It's a goal. It's Ryan Hollingshead who gives LAFC the late lead.
So I'll play it again because this was a quick clip. But you see Carlos Vela sends in the cross, and then Hollingshead just gets he's wide open and gets the ball. We'll play it again.
To win. The ensuing corner got knocked down, and it's a goal. It's Ryan Hollingshead who gives LAFC the late lead.
So after the game and the press call, I gotta talk to Ryan. I gotta ask him, something along the lines that, like, you came here as a defensive presence, but now you're an offensive threat, especially when it comes to set pieces. I think he scored all his goals from set pieces. Um, and I asked him that, and he pretty much what he said. I'm just gonna paraphrase here. He said he realizes that the other teams are looking at Carlos Vela, Chicho, Mahala, all these other offensive weapons, and he said that he knows he's going to have opportunities to be open, and he's been capitalizing on those opportunities. And I love that he said that because he realizes that, like, he has another opportunity. He has an opportunity to really help this team out in a different way, in an offensive way. And when you have Hollingshead, Mamadou Fall, and Maria also got a goal this year. That is impressive. When your defensive players, your center backs, your right backs, the whole back line is able to produce and score. it's just like watch out. It's just like you literally got to watch out for everybody, and I think that makes it so much more difficult on the defenses and the pressure because Hungs had came he was a sub. He came in. So was Jose Cifuentes who scored the second goal. But I think that to me, that's what I'm saying is when you're able to make these second half adjustments, bring in these players, and able to score and get these 3 points, that says a lot. That says a lot, and it just goes to the work, and it's very impressive to see. We have a comment here from Carlos. He says, Vela isn't scoring, but he's dropping into the midfield and creating for others. He attracts defenders and open space for the other attackers. Good point. Yeah, I think he definitely does have that capability. Does that to me? It just like it was just weird seeing him how off he was, how bad of a game he had. Um, it was so weird because it's you're not used to Vela like losing the ball and being careless with the ball because everything he's done is just so quality. Everything every time he touches the ball, he's going to do something amazing. So when he has an off night, he does look by the way, he's entitled to have a bad game because he just is. He's Carlos Vela. You're rarely going to see that happen. So he's entitled to have a bad game. But like I said earlier, the most impressive thing to me is he had a bad game and they still won the game. And they were still able to outdo Minnesota United at the team. So, and the kid brings up another point. He said, except this time goals are coming from the whole team and not just Vela. Yeah. Right. I forgot there's so many different players that have scored this season, and that is impressive because you're not just depending on Carlos Vela to score the goals or Chicho to score the goals. Everybody can score these goals. Mahala, Jose Cifuentes, everybody. Like I said, all the back line, and I think when you have a team that's able to do that and able to produce, then it really puts on so much pressure on everybody else because everybody is because sometimes you can just narrow it down. Oh, Carlos here. Appreciate the help. He says 12 different players have scored so far. That is insane. Essentially, a whole starting 11 and a sub have scored for LAFC. That's insane. Now you just need Maxim Capo to somehow score a goal. But no, I'm just playing. But yeah, that's a crazy stat. 12 different players have scored a goal for LAFC. That like what more can you ask? And I think after the game, I think we also gotta talk to Steve Cherundolo, and he just said he said something. I forgot what the question was, but I recall what he said. He said when it was something along the lines about like certain players playing and stuff. But I recall his response, and I'm gonna paraphrase. He pretty much just said that he told everybody in his guy, all the guys, because there's so much talent, there's so much depth that he's like, look, there's gonna be some sacrifices, and some of those sacrifices are sometimes certain players are not gonna play, and that's tough to hear. But at the same time, like if you're winning and everything else, like every right out every player outside of Carlos Vela, Chicho, I would say yeah, every player except Carlos Vela knows that they have to do something else. Carlos Vela, given he's going to start day in. If he's healthy, he's going to start. But other players are like we've seen Chicho not start. Tashuri, he was doing good and he didn't get to play. I don't know if he was injured. I should check on that. I don't know if he was on the roster, but Brian Rodriguez, who's obviously injured right now. But all these different players have different roles, and it could be any given player because you saw who was the man of the match? It was Ryan Hollingson who came in the second half, you know. Who he came in the second half, he had the opportunity. And I just checked, and yeah, Tashuri was not available. But you even have like Pancho Janela, he came in, he had a beautiful assist. So Ibiaga, who hasn't even played, every player and every player in LAFC understands their role, and I think that is an amazing thing to understand your role and know that you have to do. And then Carlos here, yeah, sure he's injured. Appreciate it. I figured that was it. I just didn't check the roster. But I think to me that's the most impressive thing about this LAFC team, that everybody is able to contribute and everybody's buying in. To Steve Sherlin, a lot like I've said this before, a lot of the credit has to go to um John Thornton and Steve Sherlin because look, Steve Sherlin was a questionable hire because we didn't know anything, but now I didn't know anything about him I always have said I'm on the wait and see approach, and I like what I'm seeing, and just hearing him talking those press calls, the confidence that he has, and how relaxed he is, and I haven't watched the full practice, but just listening to the press call, I can see how the practices are, right. It's very different from Bob Bradley, who's very my way or the highway. And I think LAFC needed a type of coach like this. They needed a Steve Cherno type of coach, right? Now the tactics and everything, he's getting them right. The only game that I seen he struggled was the Galaxy game and I think the Timbers game, but they're at the top of the table. So can you really complain? I don't think so. Not when you're at the top of the table, right? So I like what he's doing. I like that he's a coach for LAFC. I think everybody, if you're an LAFC fan, if you still have doubts as teacher though, you're crazy. Because 9 games in, that's more than enough to me to see that he is the right guy for the job. Now, I don't know what's gonna happen in the US Open Cup, the MLS playoffs, right? They still have they're leading for the supporters shield and all these different things. Now that's later on. But what I've seen 9 games in, Steve Shondell has been the right hire for this team, and he's having success. And all the guys buy into it. And then, another thing that Ryan said that I ended up tweeting this out. He said that guys are gelling so well that they're spending so much time in the locker room that he has to kick them out and tell them to go see their families. I thought that was just I thought that was just funny to see. Anthony says, "Any news on Brian Rodriguez?" No, but I believe it's a hamstring. Typically, hamstrings. I'm no doctor, by the way. Are 4 to 6 weeks, so he's gonna be out. I'm assuming. I knew when he got that hamstring. He's gonna be out for at least a month. That's just my opinion. That's not what LAFC has said or anything like that. That's just my observation. And plus, they don't really need Brian Rodriguez right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that big of a deal. It's crazy. They're doing all this with one DP, one DP. You know, but that's how good they are. And he said his kid says Sharonda is low-key spoiled with depth on this team. Just because he's using yeah. Yo, you could have depth and not know how to use it. And Sharonda knows how to use it, and he's rotating and he's letting players know that like, yo, if you're not performing, I don't think he does it in a rude way, but like there's so much depth that like, someone is injured, the next man is gonna step up. Are you going to the Saturday game? Potentially, I should be there. I got a few things I want to go, but it's not that I don't. I just got a bunch of things. I'm in the process of like moving and all these different things and stuff. So it depends on what I got going on. But I'll definitely be at the Timbers game for sure. So it's a maybe. I'm gonna be watching the game. So it's a maybe. Are you gonna go to the game on Saturday, Anthony? Let me know. It'd be great to run into you guys. Carlos said, "I'm glad to see Franco Escobar back up." Me too. It was good to see Franco back at right back. He's very talented. It's good to see him right there. Yeah, this month LAC is playing better teams. Yeah, Austin FC, man. May 18th. Can't wait for that game. That game's gonna be really, really good. David says Conca Champions final on Wednesday. I respect Seattle, but I'm hoping Pumas wins it from MLS. I want LAFC to win CCL or no one. Hey, I don't blame you on that. But look Seattle. If look, this is what I will say. I can't wait for the game on Wednesday. But if any team deserves to win the CCL in this format, is I would say it's Seattle because of what they've done the last 10 years or whatever. Brian Schmetzer and everything that he's done with the Seattle Sounders has been impressive. And I get, yeah, if it's not your team, you don't want them to win it. I get that. But if there's any team that's done so much and has had the at least in the Western Conference, I really like what Seattle has done, and I like they're really focusing on this. And look, if they win it, they deserve it. They deserve it to win in this format because they have so much talent and they've been successful for. They haven't missed. I think they haven't. I think they've made the playoffs every single year that they've been in the MLS. I don't think they've missed it one year. Y'all let me know in the chat, but I don't think they've missed it. So I think that's been impressive. Brian Schmetzer is an amazing coach. So if they win it, I'm about I'm gonna be rooting for them because I think it's impressive of what they've done and how they got here. But if they don't, it's unfortunate. We'll see if any of the LA teams can do it. Um, Nathan, he said thoughts on Nathan Ordaz. Will Sharona give homegrown minutes? I don't see that, to be honest. I think that's just to sign him to the homegrown deal. But I don't know anything about Nathan, to be honest. And look, we haven't even seen Christian Torres, and I can't see Christian Torres breaking into this team unless some injuries or anything like. There's just so much depth on this team, so we'll see. I think it's good to sign these kids to a homegrown deal, but I definitely see it at the lights possibility. Um, as Carlos says, they have Philly, Portland, Austin next 3 games. Yeah, 3 tough games. Yeah, and look, if LAFC has high hopes of uh hosting up a trophy that they're talking about, this is a road. You got to beat all these 3 teams and let them know that you're the team this year. So yeah, he says I'll be there. He says Carlos says Seattle's a good team. Their fans are insufferable. Yo, any fans that are not they're not on your side are insufferable. But I feel you. I feel you. Look, I was there when LFC lost. When they lost the Western Conference at home. It was unfortunate because I wanted to see LAS. I wanted to see LAC make it go all the way through. But we'll see what that happens. Um, but yeah, look, to me, like I said, I need to play. I'm kind of jumping around, just going with the chat with you guys. I do want to play this last goal that I didn't get to, the Sifu goal. Here we go.
Morongo now running at Fisher. The byline got the cross in. Boxel stabbed it away in front of Musovski. It's held in by Janela. Classic clock killing here by LAFC. 3 added minutes on the way. Great ball by Janela. Palacios into the middle, and it's in for the second. It's Cifuentes.
Away like that. That 1-2, the passing, the passing from everybody was there. Chicho, Janela, Cheeky. That's what you want to see. That's what the type of talent that this team has, to put away teams like this, especially in the 90th minute. And it was cool to see. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is amazing to watch. And that's the type of caliber talent that they have. And by no means they could be doing this to almost every MLS team. So that's what we're seeing. We haven't seen peak LAFC. And I'm excited to see when we get to see peak LAFC, because I think it's gonna be insane. It really is. And to me, look, I know a lot of people want to talk about the 2019 team, but I feel like, to me, they have so much more talent this team, 2022 team, than they do in the 2019. And I know that's crazy to say, because I'm not saying they're gonna accomplish the record or whatever. I don't want to get that far deep, but to me, they're just more well-rounded, especially at the goalkeeper position and everything. So yeah, I'm really excited to see that. He says, Carlos says, those are my favorite type of goals: passing, 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 goal. Same. Those are exciting. He says, kid says, LAC versus Club America, the rematch. Yeah, I will be there. Yep, August, SoFi. I've been asking, if you guys have been following, I've been asking for a game at SoFi. Yeah, and that's what I want to see. Carlos says this team is deeper, more balanced than the 2019 team. Yeah. Um, yeah. Flea J says Galaxy need to ditch the philosophy of possession for the sake of possession players. Yeah, yeah. Well, we talked about it in the last segment on the Galaxy side. Yeah, Leagues Cup. Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, Leagues Cup is essentially gonna be the tournament. What after is it before the 2026 World Cup? Is it 2024 when Liga MX and MLS are doing the tournament? Or is it 2023? I don't remember. There's a lot of things going on. But yeah, Leagues Cup. I think it is next season. But Leagues Cup is gonna be the tournament. And we're gonna see finally. I really want MLS to get rid of this 3DP thing. It's just so annoying, and it's just to understanding this league. It's a little frustrating. I mean, I gotta like research a lot more, and before. Now I understand it, but before it was just like, what is a DP? What is a TAM? What is? it's so confusing. I think that limits someone to wanting to know, right? Like we're in the US, we're in America, right? So it's like you're used to like baseball, basketball, and in the NFL, like roster construction, you kind of understand. But when you have different terminology that people don't really understand, that's where it gets tricky. And we know that the MLS teams are a disadvantage to the Liga MX teams because of the way they don't have no restrictions on building how they build rosters, or how much they can only play 3 players over $1 million. So we'll see. I hope Don Garber and MLS eventually gets rid of it, because I think the league's at a point that they're pretty good, and they got really good owners that have deep pockets, and by no means teams should only be limited to only being able to spend more than $3 million, or only 3 mil on only 3 DPs, and pay them only $3 million is what I'm trying to say. So we'll see what happens. That's just a little tangent. Carlos says if Bob wasn't so stubborn and played it with a true six with the twist of playing the 2019, probably being in with man, that 2019, you ain't gotta go back. But I look, Bob was stubborn. Yeah, it was stubborn. I just feel like the Seattle Brian semester really got to him. They were close on that CONCACAF Champions League. So but we'll see. Look, I think even though Bob was stubborn, he was the right guy to build a foundation for LAFC, for everything. Steve Cherundolo is still playing with the 4-3-3 formation of what Bob created. He's just tweaking it his way. He's just improving it the way he what did he said something, yeah, along the lines about this. He's just like, he just wanted to adjust certain things because the way they're playing is good. It's good. It just needed some tweaks, and you're seeing those tweaks, especially on the defensive end when he's focused a lot more. Steve Cherundolo, well, I'm assuming I think he was a right back, right? He played defense. He's putting that. So, players like, you know, we've seen better from Jesus Murillo this season, right? He still lacks certain things, but you're seeing a better play from him. Mamadou Fall is going to do good from him. Chiqui Palacios, even though he had a little bit of a slow start in that first half, you're starting to see the defense being a little bit more solid there. So, yeah. David says, I like MLS growing responsibly. 3DPs work for me slowly. Okay. I guess, look, if you like the 3DP thing, by all means, to me, I'm just tired of it. I just want to see. By no means you got to go out and get spend millions of dollars like you do in Europe. Nor would you see that. I just feel like the terminology and learning all this stuff, it gets a little it gets a little tricky. He said he's playing with the six. Ilya gives the team more balance. Ilya Sanchez is an amazing player. He is such an amazing player. You know, did we quickly forget about Eduardo Tuesta? I think we kind of did, because how good Ilya Sanchez is doing there, and also Kellen Acosta. There's just so much more talent. There's so much more eco balanced talent there. So yeah, it's crazy. And and if Steve Cherundolo does something amazing, wins some type of cup in this first year, that'd be very impressive. Um, Kid says Cherundolo could have LAFC playing pretty, but that shouldn't distract from hardware being the objective. And CCL, yeah, look, hardware and CCL qualification as a norm, I agree. But look, if you're a team in LA, you have that should be it. That should be your thing. And by no means, I think both teams in LA they should be playing in the CCL every year. They just should, because of the talent they produce and the type of players, coaches. Now, if they can't do it, then it's something wrong with the organization. You can have an off year. LASC had a bad year last year, but it looks like they've bounced back. We'll see how strong they're finished, because one thing I know LAFC fans want this year is that silverware. So we'll see how that happens. But right now, like I said, 9 games in, everything's looking good. The tricky thing is this weekend, or these weekends: Saturday, Philadelphia, and then Tuesday, Open Cup. The good thing, both games are at home. So you got Saturday against Philly, and then Tuesday against the Timbers. So is Carlos Vela going to start against Philly? I'm not sure. Is Chicho going to start? Who's going to start? The good thing is they got depth. We'll see who will be available. Because to me, look, Open Cup. You want to win. So I don't think even if they don't play the starters this Saturday and you prioritize Timbers, the Open Cup game on Tuesday, and say, look, let's just say LAFC doesn't get a positive result, or say they lose or potentially get a tie. I don't think you're really going to be upset if you prioritize. Well, you got to win Tuesday's game, obviously. So yeah, I don't think you'd be too upset. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how these back to back games work. Carlos says Acosta's looking more and more comfortable. The team will be hard to beat once the midfield. Yep, I agree. And he also has a. I can't wait for him to start scoring a goal from half field. I mean, not half field, from outside the 18, because he's had a couple shots outside the 18 that's been they are pretty close to getting there. David says, by the way, what's been the vibe like regarding Angel City FC? I'm out of state now. Unfortunately, I was not able to go. I was busy. I had to work that day. I didn't get to go, but I saw from everything for social media. It was exciting. It just would be too hard for me to. I will cover another Angel City game. I'm excited. I'm a fan. I'm a supporter of Angel City. It's a lot going on. Covering both LA teams for me. It's just too much going on. So but I will be look, the vibe is exciting from what I can tell you. Everything that I see, obviously, the women and everything like that. It's a women's sport, but I love that we have a women's team that we can support, and I'm the biggest supporter, one of the biggest supporters that needs to catch a game there. So I know the vibe has been amazing. He says we'll go to the next one. We did talk about Galaxy previous to this. Tuesday's game is an elimination game that should be probably the priority thing. I agree. Yeah, that definitely should be the priority. Samuel, we did talk about the Galaxy in the first 30 minutes. And I answered that, but yeah, he says yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. He says Masovsky, I think he has earned his stripes as a valuable clutch goals for Open Cup. Look, I've been saying this. Danny Masovsky to me is a starter in MLS. He is a starter outside of LAFC because there's just so much depth. Danny Masovsky, whether he decides to stay with LAFC, I don't know his contract situation, but whether after this season or whatever, he could definitely get some minutes, or he can stay with LAFC. That's his choice. But to me, he's a starter. I love his work ethic, and yeah, Open Cup is definitely gonna definitely the game for him to shine. But maybe I think maybe you start Masovsky against Philly because and then I don't know because I definitely believe they're gonna want to win that game against Timbers, who's LAFC's second biggest rival. You definitely don't want to lose to the Timbers at home. So I wouldn't mind seeing Danny Masovsky get the start on Saturday, and then you prioritize your other starters on Tuesday. Gotcha. We'll check that out. Thanks, homie. No doubt, Samuel. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you doing this. Y'all have been hopping on this late night, like I said, with my technical Wi-Fi situation earlier today. It was frustrating, but I just figured I'd try to chop it up with you guys. I don't know if anybody was gonna be up late, but we got a few of you guys here. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap things up and end things here. So hey, I appreciate you night owls hopping in. It's almost 11 p.m. I started this around 10 p.m. So I appreciate all the night owls are hopping in here asking questions and enjoyed it. Oh yeah, before I let you guys go, yeah, I know some of you guys had asked for the t-shirts. So if you're on YouTube, there's a link for the t-shirts. If you guys are interested in the LA Soccer Hub t-shirts, the link. You don't feel forced to buy anything like that. If you're interested, I know some people would ask for it. Either way, look, if you want to support, that's amazing. I would definitely appreciate that. If you don't, as long as you tune in, man, you listen to the message, you listen to the podcast, that's good enough for me. So with that said, guys, hope you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye, everybody.